Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and I have another fascinating game for you from round 1 of 2018 Chess Olympiad. In round 1 the team of Russia faced Uganda team, and now let's have a look at the game played between Dmitry Jakovenko and Haruna Nsubuga. In this game Jakovenko had white pieces and he started the game with e4 c6 by Nsubuga. Black goes for Karokan defense, d4 d5 and e5. White goes for the advanced variation. White gains space and prevents the immediate development of the black's king's knight on its most natural f6 square. Of course there are also drawbacks. Black is getting French defense type position with the light squared bishop outside the pawn chain. Bishop f5 and knight f3. In contrast to knight c3 and then g4, this is a very solid approach and white hopes to obtain the advantage thanks to his space superiority in the center. e6, bishop e2. Here the main moves are knight d7, c5 or knight e7, but in the game we see h6. With this move black is preparing a reliable cover for the light squared bishop. White castles kingside, knight e7, knight d2. Another alternative is playing c3 and then bringing the knight on e3 square, but in the game we will see that Jakovenko had completely different plans for this knight. Knight g6, knight b3, bishop e7 and knight e1. Already there is a very dangerous threat. White wants to trap the light squared bishop, that's why knight f8 was played. Black is creating an escaping route for the light squared bishop, bishop e3, knight d7, and as white has already completed his development, Jakovenko starts a pawn storm. g4 is on the board, bishop h7, now comes f4, knight a6. A dubious decision by Nsubuga. It was better to castle kingside, but we see knight a6, rook c1. Of course, capturing on a6 and then playing f5 could give white better chances. If bishop g5 then queen d2. And actually white has a very dangerous attack and there are weaknesses on black's queen side, but in the game after knight a6 we see rook c1, knight b6, knight a5. Both players are horsing around. We see a maneuvering chess, queen c7, c3, knight d7. Now comes b4, protecting the knight on a5 and knight b8. Well, instead of knight b8, c5 could have been better. The idea is that if d takes c5, then bishop takes c5, using the vulnerability of this knight. But in the game after b4 we see knight b8. Actually black has already made too many knight moves and this can cost him a whole game. f5 is on the board, c5. This time if a move like d takes c5, then black can win the pawn on e5, although even in this case white is maintaining advantage, but of course meeting c5 with c4 is stronger. C takes b4, f takes e6, allowing black to capture on a5, but instead of winning the knight on d7, Jakovenko played c takes d5. Look at this fantastic position. Of course you won't see such a pawn formation every day. But actually instead of playing c takes d5, e takes f7 could give white better chances. If king d8 only, now c takes d5, and then white can play bishop f3, knight g2. Again white has a strong position. This knight is coming and black king is in trouble. But in the game after queen takes a5 we see this rare position. C takes d5 is on the board and finally black castled kingside. By the way, if a move like f takes e6, then white has this devastating rook c8 check, and then d takes e6. Again this is going to be crushing. After c takes d5 we see castling kingside, and now comes d6. White pawns are like bulldozers, crushing everything on their way. Bishop takes d6, e takes d6, f takes e6. We see the exchange of rooks on f8 square, and white rook penetrates the opponent's camp. Queen d5, bishop c4. Gradually white pieces are becoming very active. Queen e4, queen f3. There is a mating threat and white is actually forcing an exchange of queens, but black played knight d7. Well, even if queen takes f3, then after knight takes f3 g5, white can capture on e6 and then play d5, and of course black can't save this position. This is hopeless. In the game we see this desperate knight d7 move and Jakovenko simply won the rook. b5, queen takes e4, bishop takes e4, now comes bishop takes e6 check, king h7. Here Jakovenko captured on a7 and finally black resigned. Of course black could do it earlier, but we see resignation only after rook takes a7. Of course white has an extra rook and this is going to be an easy win for white. A very beautiful game, I think. Black was playing a terrible chess, made too many moves with his knights, and white punished severely for those mistakes. Thanks for watching. Here are more suggestions for you. For more games, consider subscribing to my channel. I will see you in the next video.